Hi everyone, welcome back to Bushel Park Golf Club. So today we're going for our second of our 9-part series, and today we're going to be looking at holes 3 and 4. Now the third hole runs parallel to the second. Different layout on this hole. We don't have any bunkers to contend with off the tee shot unless you're one of the longer hitters at the golf club. But we do have the trees and things to contend with down the left and right hand side. So what I'd always suggest is play a club that you feel comfortable with. Obviously we're looking for some distance, so it is going to ideally be a driver or fairway wood. Also play to where your strengths are. Now when you get to the longer hitters, when we're getting further down this hole, the trees get more dense both left and right, so it becomes a harder shot to play out of those trees if we do miss the fairway. So what I always opt for is opt for a three-wood or a hybrid, depending on what the wind's doing. It brings me far enough back that I can have a full shot in. If I do end up hitting down the right or left, or slightly right or left hand side of my target, I can still have a high enough shot to get up and above the trees for my second, potentially hitting the green for my second and give myself an easy chance for par. Now with this hole, I always make sure I've got a clear target line. So I'm going to pick a spot down the left hand side, so I'm actually aiming at the single tree down the end of the fairway. I always aim to start on the right hand side of this tee box, and that way when I'm aiming myself I'm hitting a bit more across and coming away from where the tee's pointing me. Now what I would say is with this hole, the tee does point you down the right hand side of the fairway, so anyone teeing up on the left side of the tee box, they're going to be hitting more towards that right edge of the tree line. So I always like to tee up on the right side of the tee box, hitting more across this fairway. So I'm going to take my alignment down the right edge of that tree and the end of the fairway, pick my spot, take my setup, and then pull the trigger. Okay, so I've leaked my tee shot down the right hand side and I'm faced with the tree line, faced with the options of high or low. So the first thing I need to answer is which one of those two shots am I going to do? Now I've got no trees around me, got plenty of space above me, so high is a good option for me. Low doesn't give me any targets towards the flag, but it still is a good option depending on what I want to do. So for this one, I'm going to go high. I've got enough club to get me above this tree line, and I've definitely got enough club to get me towards the green as well. So high is where I'm going. So once I've picked whether or not I'm going high or low, I'm then going to pick where I'm going as far as direction wise. So I could go to the right, straight to the flag, or to the left. Again, dependent on how the ball's sitting and dependent on how far it is to the target. So I'm going to take dead aim at the flag. So now I've got myself picked my shot, I've picked my direction, so my target line. Now I'm going to follow my routine as normal. So the only thing I'm going to do is, because this ball's in the rough, I am going to have my weight a little bit more on my left foot than I normally would, just so I can make sure I strike the ball first. Get myself up and over the tree, making sure I strike the golf ball before the grass. So regardless if you're a long hitter or a short hitter, your most important shot on this third hole is going to be your second or third. So your approach shot to the green. So for the longer hitters, this is going to be their tee shot. For some of the shorter hitters, this might be their third shot into the green. Or for anyone who's misdirected it off the tee, this might be where their third shot's been played from. This is a key shot on this hole because we have danger left and right, and we have danger short as well. And it can look like the whole hole is surrounded. But that front bunker is best part of 30 yards short of the green. So in theory, it doesn't come into play, it's just visually it's there and quite menacing. So for this shot, it's important to know what number you need to hit. So you need to know the yardage. So anyone who doesn't already use a GPS watch, a laser, I would urge you to get yourself one. Knowing your numbers around this sort of area is a key part to improving and to reducing your handicap. So I've lasered this. This is 98 yards, slightly downwind. So for me, that's a 3/4 pitching wedge. I'm going to play this shot fairly high because the greens are quite firm at the moment. And playing low and trying to spin it is not going to work. I think I'm right on my target, but I've given myself a chance with the putter. I've got my yardage right, about 6 feet short of the flag and about 10 10 to 12 feet right of the flag, but I've given myself a chance for making my par or birdie, depending on how good my tee shot was. So this third green's a bit like an upside down saucepan. So the centre part is higher than the outer skirts, and then the outer edges are raised up again. So everything from the middle of the green always breaks outwards. So we have a ridge that puts right across this green, and we also have a ridge again falling away towards the back left hand corner. So it's a tricky green to read, but if you take your time and just feel where your weight is when you're facing the hole, you'll get a sense of which way the hole's going to break. The longer the putt on this hole, remember, the more speed you're going to have in the start of your roll, and the less the ball's going to break. So really we want to be reading the last 6 to 8 feet on the longer putts, because that's where it's going to break the most as it starts to slow down and approach the hole. So remember, like I said, upside down saucepan, all breaks away from the centre. Okay, so par 4, fourth hole. It's a short par 4 this one, so we have two options. We can either, for long hitters, pull out the driver or fairway wood, and sometimes a little bit less than that, and have a go at the green. The problem with that is all danger down the left, trees hugging the right hand side, and this is a slight dog leg from left to right. So the straighter I go down this fairway, the less room I'm going to start to have as I'm going to run it out into that left hand rough and into the tree line. So safe option is to take to mid iron, more down the centre, and then play it on with the wedges. Okay, so I've hit a perfect mid iron down this fourth hole, 5 yards in. Now, one of my favourite things about this fourth hole is the green. So you've got so many options about where the green pin can be placed and how you can actually play the shots. Middle, which gives us options if we land it towards the front and let it skip on. If the greens were a little bit softer, we could look at the slope behind it and try and use that to run the ball back a little bit, to really run it back to give me a chance of getting close to this hole, because it is quite forward. But certainly if the pin's more towards middle to back, it's going to give you an option of what you can do. It gives you a bit more confidence hitting the shot and letting it run out a little bit. So at 8 yards, play 58 wedge, and I'm going to play a knockdown shot. So I'm going to keep this ball a little bit lower, I'm going to trap it a little bit and just get it to hop out once or twice before it grabs up. So what you'll find the difference with this shot is a lot of it's to do with the finish ball position. So ball position being the first one, ball's going to go slightly further back in my stance. I'm now looking at middle, but my weight is still going to be on that left side. So when I play any of my pitch shots, I always have ball forward, weight on my left side as my stock setup, and that gives me options to move it further back and de-loft it and knock the ball down. And it also allows me to then want to move my weight further forward if I really need to trap one and keep it a little bit more of a nip shot. The difference with this shot is because I'm playing like a knockdown, I'm not only moving the ball back, I'm actually going to reduce my follow through. So my hands are going to stay ahead of the club head, is the feeling I'm trying to create. So hands are going to stay ahead right the way through. I'm going to finish about chest high. With any of these shots, when I'm playing a higher shot, what you'll normally see me finish is club overtakes and releases, and I finish more like a full shot would be. I always want to make sure the club's moving, so what I don't want to do is restrict it and stop short. So I pick my target, flight that I want to see, and I've got the finish that I want to have. So I'm going to knock this one in a little bit lower, favouring the right side of the flag, because the ball's a little bit above my feet. Weight on the left, and trap it out there. So one hop, two hops, and spun to the stop. And as always, do make it on the fairway, please make sure you replace it. Press it down. That way gives it the best chance of repairing, ready for the next player to use. Okay, so we've spoken about pre-shot routine with a full swing, but we have a look at pre-shot routine with a putter now. I will always mark my ball as soon as I get onto the putting green, and I'm going to have a look at it from down the line. Now, what I would not always get people to do is check both sides. I would generally get one side and then from the left or the right. Now, the reason we go left or right is it depends which side is the high side. So if I see this putt going from right to left, I'm going to look from the left. If I see it from left to right, I'm going to look from the right. You always want to look from the low side, because then the putt's looking up towards you. rather than if we look from the high side, you're always looking down at it and it can change your perspective of it. And really all we're doing with that left or right side is giving yourself more perspective of the total distance. Now what I'm reading from this side here, I'm looking at not only my putt, but I'm also looking at the surrounding areas. So I'm seeing this putt go from right to left. So the next time I look at it will be from the left-hand side of the whole putt. Just to give myself a sense of the total distance. I've then got a comfortable line that I'm happy with. I'm going to line my ball up to that line. So what I'm seeing is this ball start down the right and then curve its way back in. So I'm seeing a track line running along here as it breaks in. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going to draw a straight line to that point on the right hand side of the hole. And that's what I'm lining my ball up to. So once I have my straight line, I'm going to hit my putt as if it was straight. So I don't need to worry about trying to make the ball curve. I have a straight line from one point to the next. Get my putter lined up, look at the target, look at the ball, and let it go.